I'm live. All right. I can see myself. Hey guys, how are you? I see we have a few people coming on in. So nice to see you all. Can't really tell I'm wearing my Mickey Santa here. I'm in full blown Christmas mode because I love Christmas. So this is my favorite time of year. And if you didn't see my card project, here's my card project. This is what I showed you how to make today. Pretty fun and hopefully easy. I thought it was quite easy. Tried to make it so because I'm really bad at getting my Christmas cards done, like I'm still behind. I wanted to make something that you could put together pretty quickly without having to worry about it too much, and it would be assembly lineable. So that's why I designed it that way. Hey, Loretta, you're from Colorado, Western Colorado. Cool. I'm in Denver. You may know that. I don't know. So opposite side of the state, but still very, very cool to have another Colorado right there here. And there's a question for me. What is my favorite card making technique? Oh boy. That is hard to narrow down. I used to make traditional cards. That was how my blog started in 2016. So I used to do a lot of like stamping and alcohol ink blending or ink blending and that kind of stuff. And I still love doing that kind of thing. But now that I design SVGs, I think my favorite thing to do is use layers and just like layer things together so that it's easy, but it's also looks like it was kind of hard to do. So it looks a lot more elaborate than it actually is because you can just layer the things together and get a cool result. I like figuring that out when I'm designing things, so that's always fun for me. Have I ever been able to capitalize on what I deemed as mistakes? Sure. I guess I'm not entirely sure. Like what? Maybe I said something about the mistakes. Sometimes I think mistakes can be a blessing in disguise because you wind up having to figure out a way to work with them. Occasionally, I'll say get ink on something that I don't want, or something will tear or not cut correctly, and I have to come up with a way to hide it. And so that can always sort of lead to the creative juices flowing, and have me come up with some way to still use what I've done, but maybe not in the way I originally planned. Because you know how frustrating it is, like when you cut something out, you spend like a whole bunch of time like getting it set up to cut, and then it cuts out and just like one piece of it gets messed up. I hate that. There's always that can be hard for me to just throw that out, so I will try to like come up with a way to cover it up. So I will use crack out my like traditional card making tools, like sequins and glitter drops and stuff like that, to maybe like cover up some of that stuff. I do that a lot. I also am a big fan of the white, like a white gel pen, as something that will cover up areas that get like ink on them, or if you're coloring and something goes outside the lines and it's really obvious, that works really well to just, it's almost like what are those things called when on camera? I can't think of words. Like whiteout, but it's a pen, so it's like really easy to just fix those little mistakes. Plus I'm a bit of a perfectionist, I have to admit, so I kind of get real nitpicky sometimes. Loretta, oh yes, you appreciate that I made my card with the Cricut Joy. The Joy, well, okay. The Joy used to be my absolute favorite machine, and I actually have a summit that I do in the summer called Create with Cricut Joy that is specifically for projects that you can make with the Joy, because I love the Joy. I think you can do a whole bunch with it. It way more than what people think you can do, given how tiny it is. But I have to admit that I have a Joy Extra now, and I kind of really like that because that's kind of hitting the sweet spot in between like the really big and the really small. So you can do, you can cut things like slimline cards on the extra, and like the whole card base, that you can't do on the Joy. You can do like the layers that would go on top of a slimline, but you can't do a card base with the Joy. So I kind of love that the extra is just a little bit bigger, I'll be honest. But I'm still a very big fan of the Cricut Joy. Do I find that card making has evolved? What newish tools do you enjoy using most? Card making definitely continuously evolves. I mean, stamping from when I started back in like the 90s, I guess. I'm going to date myself here, age myself. Like inks have evolved and ink blending, like that's totally new. I mean, Tim Holtz, I think, has had a huge impact on the stamping industry and just like his creativity and his brain. But I think just card making in general has really evolved, especially with things like Cricut machines. People love making cards, and those machines are really, really nice to make it easy. And I think things like, insert cards are certainly like a quick and easy way to make a card without having to put in too much effort. Like I do those when I need something really fast. But I also I like to combine the two together, because sometimes I feel like Cricut cards that are just die, or even just cards that are just die cuts, can look a little plain. And so sometimes it helps to add little extras to those cards to kind of spice them up a little bit. And so that's kind of an evolution for me as far as figuring out how to combine some traditional things with the Cricut things to make them work together, but without being like where you have to, if you're a Cricut person, that you have to go out and buy like 8,000 inks or something like that. That would not be the best. Crafting supplies are so expensive that, it's better to kind of work with what you've got. So I tend to use like little stuff more than big stuff. But ink blending is still something I like. What, anybody else? The good white shell. Ugh. Boy, what did I do with my gel pen? It's shoot, I've got it. Let me grab it. It's a jelly roll. Okay, this is actually the glittery one, but yeah, it's a jelly roll pen. So, but it's white. And you can get them on Amazon really easily, for sure. And I think there's like you can also use like white paint pens for that too. If you have a skinny paint pen, that works too, to cover up mistakes. Although sometimes it's just a little harder to get the paint pen to have a thick enough coat, but you can do like several layers. And one thing to know about the white gel pen is that you have to let it completely dry before you put a second coat on. Otherwise it'll like just rip off what you've already put on there. So something to bear in mind. What would I suggest to the Joy user to put on the Christmas wish list? I personally, so I showed you how to use the foil tip as a scoring thing with your Joy. I actually have some like adapters that I got off of Etsy that allow you to put other pens in your Joy. And so I use that to actually put the scoring stylus into my Joy. And I like using the scoring stylus more than the foil tip. It scores better. And I actually really like those adapters for just using like any kind of pens. You can use the normal Cricut pens, not just the Cricut Joy pens with those. I got those on Etsy. I believe the vendor is A Long Journey. But if you Google it on Etsy, I'm sure you can find like, and all kinds of stuff that's that are adapters that will allow you to use like the pens and scoring stylus and stuff like that. I also think that the new really fun the like holographic sticker paper and stuff that's actually sized for the Joy Extra, but you could cut that down and still, and I have a print and cut hack video, so you can print and cut with your Joy, and that's a really fun thing to use to make stickers with. Hey Susan, how are you? Hi Elena. If you were on a desert island, what is the one craft tool you would want with me? One? Just one? Well, if I only have one tool, I'm not sure how much I could get done on a desert island because I'm assuming I don't have electricity. Boy. I mean, obviously, like a scissors is probably like the most important thing because you could cut paper, do stuff with just a scissors and just paper, or just say tropical leaves or something, maybe. So that's my silly answer. I guess a scissors, probably like a fine point scissors too. More than anything else. Loretta, where do we find the Print and Cut Hack for Joy video? It is on YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel. So Black Sheep 303 is my YouTube channel name. And it's probably my most popular video. I made it like 3 years ago, but it still holds up. What you do is you basically make a template in Canva, and then you bring the template in, and then you put your images inside the template, and then you put like an offset on them, and then you just let the machine cut just what's inside that rectangle. It's kind of complicated, but it's actually easier than you would think. So you can do it. It is not totally 100% perfect, but I rarely have print and cut ever be like 100% perfect. You know, it's always going to be a little off, you know, to one side or the other sometimes. But I've gotten some pretty darn good results using that hack with the Joy and print and cut stuff. So, any fun events coming up? Oh, I have a ton of fun events coming up. I even wrote them down because I couldn't remember them all. All right, so I'm looking down at my notebook here. So next week, I will be in the Design Space Jumpstart Summit. That's brought to you by Jamila Payne, and that's December 12th through 15th. And I'm on Thursday, whatever day that is. In January, I will be in the SVG Crafters Summit. That's brought to you by Shelly Antis. That's January 11th through the 13th. I will be in the Cricut Craft Fest, which is Abby Kirsten's summit, and that is February 2nd through the 9th. Jav Sid is going to have a summit in March called Party with Cricut, so it's kind of like party decorations, and I'm doing a baby shower invitation for that one. Matt Dow has the Spring Crafts for Cricut Makers, March 20th through the 24th. I'll be in that one. The next Card Maker Success Summit is March 7th through the 10th, and I'm in that as well. And then my Summit Create with Cricut Joy is happening July 11th through the 14th. So if you are a Joy or Joy Extra user, you might want to get on the wait list for that. You can find that at createwithcricutjoy.com. You can sign up for the wait list. Or, you know, just be on my email list and I will let you know about it. And then I am hoping to do a second summit involving more than just Cricut. So because I teach people how to use scan and cut and silhouette machines too. So I want to do like a little more comprehensive where you look at all those machines doing work with SVGs. And so I'm hoping to do a Create with SVGs summit. I was originally shooting for May. I don't think that's going to happen. So it's probably going to be end of October. But if you want to be on my email list, I will keep you updated on all that. And I'm sure, I mean, that is just the beginning of the year as far as what I've committed to for summits. I'm sure there will be more as we go on. I tend to do a lot of summits. Unfortunately, sometimes my social media and YouTube suffers as a result of that. I haven't been able to post too much on there because I just love doing the summits. It's really fun. Although I do have coming up, hopefully this week, these sublimation ornaments. I'll show you how to make sublimation ornaments. I'm hoping I can get these out on Friday for up on YouTube. So we've got some fun, cute, like gnome designs. They're on my tree. See if I bring it over. Oh, it's really shiny. You can kind of see some of them there. I've been having fun making printables, so these are all like printable designs that I've done. How did I get the name Black Sheep 303? Shelly. Hey, Shelly. Did you get my package that I sent you just the other day? It comes from 303 is the area code for Denver, and Black Sheep is because I'm the black sheep of the family, basically. I did not do what I was supposed to do, according to my parents. Although they are no longer with us, so it's really not that big a deal anymore. But it's a humorous thing for me now, I think, more than it was when I was much younger, obviously. And plus, like, I kind of think black sheep are different. Black sheep are a little weird, a little funky, and I think I'm a little weird and funky. So it suits me, kind of. I don't know. I hope. Am I using a sublimation printer for the gnome ornaments? Yes, I am. I converted one of those EcoTank printers into a sublimation printer, and I use Hippo ink and a sub paper in it. And it's a really easy, cheap way to come up with a sublimation printer. It does clog, so be aware of that. But it's not too tough to get it unclogged. I had to unclog it not too long ago. So you just have to print on it at least like once a week to keep it from clogging. One day maybe I'll buy a regular sublimation printer that actually like cleans itself, but who knows? We'll see. What's the toughest question I've been asked during a live Q&A? Oh. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know if I've ever had one that was super difficult. I mean, I remember somebody asked me, like, what was my favorite kind of card to make? And I thought that was going to be really hard, but then I realized really quickly, oh, Christmas cards are totally my favorite, so it wasn't hard. And I'm not sure, like, what... And honestly, like, they kind of become a blur afterwards. It's sort of like you do the event, you're all, like, excited for it, and afterwards you kind of forget what you said. So hopefully I don't seem too crazy. Which printer do I use? So for regular printing, I have a Canon Pixma inkjet. For sublimation printing, I've got a Canon EcoTank. I believe it's a 3855. I got it at Costco last year. It's about $300, I think. But it works pretty well and really reasonable for the price, and I get to make fun stuff like this. Whoops, I'm dropping my stuff. Like my fun, cute gnome guys. What is my least favorite? Oh, Loretta, what is my least favorite card to make? Boy, probably like general cards, I think, are hard to make. Where it's just like, hello, or whatever. Because I find, like, if it doesn't have a theme, I have a harder time coming up with an idea. So, although I did make a pet sympathy card. Let's see if I've got it. I made a pet sympathy card for Card Maker Success Summit last year. That one was really hard to do because you're kind of limited in what you can put on it, and I'm not a super great drawer. So drawing out like a fancy scene or something was not totally in my wheelhouse. So I wanted to do something simple but cool. So that one was pretty hard to do. But I think anything where I don't kind of have a theme already gets a little bit challenging for me. Sympathy cards, I think, are really hard. Although sometimes those can be nice because they're kind of, you can be very sort of zen and peaceful and that kind of thing. Can I sublimate on the back side of the gnome ornaments? Well, I did not do that. I thought about it. I was concerned that, like, if I sublimated the back after I did the front, that it would mess up the front. I have a feeling like you could put the design on the front and put one on the back, and you could like do it and then flip it over right away and then do it on the back also, because they are both sides sublimatable. I just was a little bit chicken to do it because I wasn't sure that it wouldn't mess up the first side if I heated up the second side. What I did was I added vinyl. Like I cut out a little bit of vinyl and I added that to the back. I've got one of these has it on there. There you go. You can see that. And so that kind of finished off the back for me. And it's an easy thing to do without having to worry about sublimating both sides. I'm still kind of learning sublimation, but it's really fun. I really like doing it. So, and I like doing like printables and stuff. My shelves are full. How many different crafting machines do I have? I have a lot. I have a maker, and then I have a mug press, and I have an easy press, and I have an HT Burant tumbler press. Got an HT Burant auto press over there. Over here, I got a Scan and Cut, a Silhouette Cameo 4, and then there's my Big Shot, sort of the traditional die cutting machine. And then behind me, which you can't see, I have a Gemini and a Gemini Go. I love the Gemini Go. Like these little small things, they make me so happy. But you know, it's my job, so that's why I have a lot. Although lately it seems like it's mostly Cricut stuff. Oh, and then I also have the Joy Extra and the Joy, which you can't really see back here. So I have a lot of Cricut machines. A lot. I think I've got plenty. Show the back of the ornament up close. Ooh, boy. It's a vinyl. It's adhesive vinyl. So like permanent adhesive vinyl. So when I cut it out, it just cut, you know, and I weeded it. It just looks like that. And then I used transfer tape to just transfer it onto the back. The video will be out this week, so on my YouTube channel to show you how to do this. And then I have to get the designs on my Etsy store, but I'm going to give you a coupon in the video so you can get a set of 3 of the designs for free through the end of the year. So bear with me. It might not be till Friday till I get that done, but that is my goal. I'll be posting on YouTube again. Vivian asks, which cutting software do you find easiest to use? Cricut, Silhouette, Scan and Cut, etc. Now I have another video on YouTube where I compare the 3 types of machines. Also another very popular video. It depends on your level of expertise and your techiness. So I honestly really like Cricut. I really like Design Space for making projects, but you can't really design. I mean, I don't design anything in Cricut Design Space because you can't save anything out of the program. So I design SVGs outside of it and then upload them. But if you're a beginner and you want to just make things that are kind of readily available, like you're going to upload your designs or you're going to use things in Access or whatever's available in Design Space, I think that's really good for like beginners. And they've improved it a lot. It's come a long way from where it was even a year or 2 ago. Silhouette Studio is extremely powerful. I mean, you can design SVGs in that. You can do all kinds of amazing stuff in Silhouette Studio. I mean, it's practically Illustrator as far as its functionality goes. But like Illustrator, you have to be pretty tech savvy kind of, and not easily intimidated by all of the things going on and all of like the tools that are everywhere all over the screen. It can be very intimidating and not as intuitive. Like I personally love, this is my favorite thing, is the way that Design Space breaks everything down into like colored mats. No other program does that. Like all the other programs, you have to send each mat individually to the machine and then reset the mat. So, you know, even in Silhouette or Scan and Cut, you like put everything on the mat that you're seeing on the screen, which is, it's nice to have the mat right there on the screen, which Design Space doesn't have, to put things on there and arrange them the way you want them. But then you have to like sort of either send it to the machine or export it to the machine and cut that mat out. And then once that's done, you then go back into the program and put and take everything off the mat and put the new stuff on the mat and then send that mat to the machine. And so that takes longer for sure than the way Design Space does it, where you can just go mat right from one to the next one. And I love that about Design Space. Scan and Cut, I really love the Scan and Cut. Because for it, the scanner is amazing. Like if you're a stamper, for example, you can stamp images out and color them in or do whatever you want and then scan them into that machine and the machine will cut them out for you. And that's fantastic. And I think it's the only machine on the market that does that. But I will say that the software program, Canvas Workspace, it's a little bit clunky. It's probably the least intuitive of the programs. It's not as powerful as Silhouette Studio, although it does a few more things than Design Space can do. But you also cannot save SVGs out of it. You can only save the proprietary file types out of that program. Now you can save them out, which you can't do out of Design Space. And Silhouette Studio, you have to pay like to, you know, your higher tiers, like, you know, Designer Edition, which is around $50. You can import SVGs, and Business Edition, which is the highest level, which is about $100. You can then save things out as SVGs. But realistically, you don't ever pay that price. I mean, like, it's almost always on sale. You can usually find it for significantly less than that. And it's a one-time fee. So it's not like a membership where you're paying $10 a month or whatever. You're just paying it one time and then you can just use it for the rest of your life, basically, with Silhouette Studio, which is really nice. If you are interested in like learning to design SVGs and you don't want to invest in something like Illustrator or get into something that's free like Inkscape. Inkscape's a little glitchy, but it's a great like beginner program if you're interested in learning how to create your own SVGs, for sure. Hope that answers the question. Probably got a little long-winded. Jen, when you do an event such as this one, do you get an assignment theme to follow, or is that up to you to present? It depends on the person putting the summit together. Usually there's a theme of some kind, you know, like this was Christmas cards. So you kind of have an idea. Having put together my own summit, I tend to ask the person who's putting on the summit what if there's something in particular they would want me to do, especially if it's like all across the board, like Abby Kirsten does, you know, where it's projects of every kind. Because you tend to, as a summit organizer, get like a bunch of people wanting to do cards. And so then you've got 10 card projects and no vinyl projects or no HTV projects or no sublimation projects, you know, and you want to have a little bit of everything. So I will often ask the organizer, if it's not like readily obvious what they want. But usually there's a lot of freedom. You know, it's like you just, you know, I think Abby was like, okay, we'll do this kind of a thing. And so it's a Mother's Day card that's going to have a pop-up thing with it. But I can do whatever I want with that. It's not, she's not telling me specifically like it has to have flowers and it has to have this. Like, you know, it's much, there's some freedom, but you might have like a parameter. You know, like Bet last with her holiday crafts for Cricut Maker, she asked me to do a HTV design, so I did a tea towel for, you know, and so that for Christmas, and so that was as far as the whole parameters went. Hopefully that answers the question. So you're not too limited. It's really fun. It is really fun. Oh, I see we got that. I guess we're wrapping up, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming. It's been really fun talking to you. I tend to ramble. I hope that's okay. I love talking to you guys. It's always really fun. So if you have any questions about the card or anything else, you can always email me. I'm Elena, ELENA, at blacksheep303.com if you want to get a hold of me specifically. You can also contact me through my contact form on my website and go to my YouTube channel. That's probably where I do the most stuff. I also have Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest, which are all either Black Sheep 303 or Black Sheep 303 Crafts. So thanks, guys. Hopefully I'll see you next week at the Cricut Design Space Jumpstart Summit. That one should be fun. Thanks. Thanks, Melinda. Thanks. I'm seeing, kind of reading the comments over here. Thanks, you guys.